you're on the biggest show in the world and people are commenting about your body.
Well, but it's also like, in a way, being the it girl mattered for my character. They are looking at my character being like, it doesn't add up.
I mean, that was just insane to like be on the periphery witnessing how challenging that had to have been. You just handled it with such maturity and great. I don't know what was happening internally or behind closed doors. Like, obviously you were dealing with a lot, but you are such a professional that you would show up. You were like the most professional of all of us. Truly. She just like the most professional of all of us. And you would I knew that was hard. Just like when I was struggling, you knew it was hard, but like we have a job. You show up, you do the work, and you leave everything at home.
Join me, Sasha Pieterse, on Women in the Nude, Season 2, where we bear it all, except for our bodies. Leave that to your imagination. Welcome to Women in the Nude. Everybody, this is Lucy Hale.
I'm exposing everything today. I don't know about you, but this sweater's coming off.
As it should.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you to come on. I'm so excited.
Aww.
You've been so busy, travels. I mean, so have we, but like, it's crazy.
We always
Same
find the
place
time.
at the same time.
Are you kidding me? First of all, this is so cool, and you're the perfect person to have a podcast. When I was driving over here, I was trying to remember the first time I ever met you. And I can't remember the first time I ever met you, but I remember, how old were you when we started? You were like 7. You were literally a baby. You were like 13, right?
I feel like I was 12 when I did the pilot. Yeah.
You were 12 years old. And the thing that always sticks out to me about you is that you have always been so unapologetically yourself, and just like no
that's
even
that's
at 12
true, for sure.
Even at 12 you were so confident. You were very kind, but you've always just been yourself. And so when I'm like driving over here, I was so excited to do this podcast, and I'm just thinking, of course you're the perfect person to host a podcast, because you don't give a fuck. I love it. It's great.
I appreciate that. It's interesting that it comes across that way, because you know, I mean, of course we all have our insecurities, and I don't feel like I was that way, but at the same time, I do feel like, I mean, I always try and like be authentic, I think, and I know you feel similar to me in this, where it's like, I don't like to kiss ass. And I just can't. I
feel like maybe that's why I really admired you, because I was such a people pleaser. And I definitely like, I admired people who could just be themselves and didn't like try to fit the mold of what people expected. I feel like I've outgrown that a lot. I feel like I'm
you definitely
less give a fuck now.
Yeah.
But it is like my brain always wants to revert to the be nice, be sweet.
The thing though is that I am a people pleaser in different ways.
Okay.
So it came out in other ways where like I wouldn't speak up for myself. Like I wouldn't like actively kiss anybody's to like get something, but I would also not say what I needed to say.
Yes, understood.
I think starting so young and not wanting to make waves and not wanting to be the problem, and not, you know, there's definitely layers there, but I
sure
appreciate
it comes with its own set of fun little problems, but
no, for sure. Yeah. I think my parents always wanted me to be confident, and like they definitely like fostered a safety net where like I could be myself, but there are just other things that come with, you know, I mean, we both started young. This I only wanted to say this because usually these podcasts start out with me gushing about you.
But that's exactly why I wanted to bring it up, because I want to gush about you just for one more second, and then you can gush about me, because I do believe in the balance and duality of that. But you really, truly, from day one, Sash, you have always seen me, truly. You've always understood, no matter what I was going through, like you've always understood who I am and what I'm about. And you've always just had my back, and I
have always had your back.
Love you
that will never
to pieces.
Change. I love that you say that. I do feel like I've always seen you. I feel that as well, and I think like I don't know. It's just we went through a period of time together where like we might not have been the same age. But there was such a teething period, and there were so many changes in our lives, as well as becoming our own people and like becoming a woman. We also had so many different outside things or things that were really close to us shifting that were both great and both really difficult.
Yeah.
You know, there were a lot of obstacles. Pretty Little Liars was such an amazing thing for both of us. I feel like in the same way, but also different ways. It was such an amazing turning point in social media and who we had access to and all the things. But because of that, there were a lot of different challenges that happened. And I feel like ultimately you have always been kind to me. And that's also something that I think, I want to equally gush about, because I don't remember what we were testing for, but that particular pilot season before Pretty Little Liars, I was seeing you all the time. We kept seeing each other at things.
Yeah.
And I had also, I don't remember the show name now, and I love her, the girl that played your sister. Privileged.
Yeah.
My parents loved that show. I mean, I loved it too. So it was a show that we would sit down and watch, and then I would see you, and then I would see you, and stuff. So I think it was just I admired you for your talent, and then coming across you, even though in the beginning I obviously didn't know you, you were always so kind when you didn't have to be. We go to auditions, especially when it's that type of thing, where pilot season that doesn't exist anymore. Pilot season was so intense. Everybody was
right.
This is my one chance in life, and everybody just felt so
cutthroat. We were so young.
I know, right? But you were always kind. You always said hi. You always, it was oh, nice to see you again. But I felt genuine about it rather than it being the opposite, like we both experienced. So
yeah.
I think that not only was I really excited for the show, but it also felt in a way familiar before we even started.
Yeah.
So I think that.
Wow, so we go way back.
Yeah, we do. And I think it was probably just that pilot season where we really started seeing each other. Which was only a couple months, really.
And now we're on the couch with a bunch of really comfy blankets.
Yeah, it's cool. It's been a really you have been around in my life for very important milestones.
Oh, likewise. For real.
I mean, yeah, it's great.
For real.
It's really cool.
I never got to see a playback of the when you gave me my award recently.
Bawled my eyes out.
No. It seriously. I think about that. I will never forget you showing up for me in that way, and the words you spoke and the intention behind which you spoke them. It meant so much to me. I do have a recording of it.
On behalf of everybody in her corner, we are so immensely proud of you. Since then, Lucy has helped so many women. Lucy is a magnificent example of the magic that happens when you choose yourself. She has unmasked and stripped the facade, allowing for healing for herself and for countless women in the same position. I'm so honored to present you, Lucy, with the 2024 Friendly House Humanitarian Award.
I told myself, no tears today, and then Sasha comes in with the sweetest introduction ever. It means so much to me that you are here. I can't even put into words. You are such a sweet, special soul, and let the tears flow. You're amazing. Sasha's amazing. Everyone listening, Sasha gave me this award, and you just gave this speech that, I don't know, it was just very moving. And once again, I was like, you see me. I cry all the time. I used to apologize for crying all the time, but I think I've just realized I'm sensitive. You're sensitive.
I think it's a strength for sure.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I was like, for clarity purposes, I'm not going to cry. I've got to get this out. I wrote this. I wanted.
I cried
so much. It was
very sweet. It was
ridiculous.
Such a special moment.
I was like, I hope people can hear what I'm saying through my tears.
No,
I think
it's very kind.
It was a happy moment, though.
And you know what? It's like I think for so much of my life, even outside of work, industry, career stuff, I very often felt like I was misunderstood and felt like people didn't value the person I am, or just didn't even feel seen on a basic level. So having someone like you show up for me years ago, and it wasn't even a spoken thing. It was just energetically, I knew that you got what I was about.
Yeah.
And then to have you speak those words 15 years later, and truly, it was just kind of you just feel like part of my soul family. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's a good feeling. All we want at the end of the day is just to feel valued and seen, not necessarily for the things we do, but just for the inherent people that we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think, you know, I think we got to a point too, with all of our press where like, I just wanted to do press with you. I was like, this is so, it's just, it made it easy. You know, it was just so like, it made things that could be stressful, enjoyable. And it was always kind of like, we're in this together.
My gal.
Yeah, absolutely. I was so honored that I could give that speech. Writing it, it was just like a reminder too, I think, of just the journey that we both had. So amazing to share that with you, but also, and I hate saying, okay, I'm going to sidestep here. When somebody, because this can be so condescending, this phrase that I'm about to say, which is, I'm so proud of you. Sometimes people say that and they're like, oh, instead of being like, I'm so happy for you or I'm so excited for you, like, I'm so proud of you. And it's almost, it's like that condescending.
I understand, but I've actually made it a habit to tell myself I'm proud of myself because I think we're like taught that if you say those things to yourself that it means you're narcissistic or egotistical or selfish or whatever. And so I think having pride is different than having a big ego. So I accept that.
Good.
Thank you.
Because I am, and not because for any other reason other than like when you see somebody grow, like I'm so proud of like the work that you put into yourself. Like,
thank you.
I'm proud of your journey. I'm proud of you for sharing it in the most like genuine way, like from an admiration place rather than like, I don't know, that it can just, that phrase can have multiple meanings. And I want to stress that like in the best ways possible, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I feel that from you.
I do have a question because like naturally when we are open with people in general, especially in the public eye, it can be a mixed bag. So now you've been open with your sobriety journey. What was the most surprising thing to you about like sharing that with people?
Well, for so long, I tried to hide certain parts of myself that are really vital parts of my character. I tried to hide the darkness I had. I tried to hide shame, things that brought shame. I obviously tried to hide what I was struggling with for years. And like when you hide things about yourself, it's a really miserable, lonely, isolating place to be in. We all experience that.
Yeah.
And when I got sober, and a lot of my healing and journey of getting sober, like it wasn't like I just woke up one day and said, you know, I'm going to be sober. You know, it was almost 15 years of it starting from like a seed of, oh God, this is weird, to it being really scary and chaotic and blah, blah, blah. It was a really long journey that I kept private. You know, obviously there were people that knew and people in my corner and I had support and I had resources, but I was so hell-bent on never talking about it publicly because I thought people would be really disgusted by that or think differently of me, or like the good girl image would go away, or I wouldn't get jobs, or people would be scared of me. Like I actually, whatever, I'll talk. I have Gemini brain, so I need to stay the course, Liz. But when I had a long years and years and years of figuring things out and finding out more of who I was as a person. And when I got sober, I guess it was about a year and a half in where I started talking about it openly. And it wasn't really that it was like this strategic thing of, and now I'm gonna be a sober spokesperson. No, I just somehow transmuted that like pain and those shameful experiences into something that became powerful for me. And I realized, holy shit, like what I've gone through, some people may connect to that and it might help people. Absolutely. And so it just kind of like unfolded naturally. And basically I spoke about it on Instagram initially. And then I talked about it on a podcast. And I remember after I did that first podcast, I had this overwhelming sense of peace. I was like, the power is all mine now. There's nothing anyone can say about me that I haven't already experienced or talked about.
Right.
I can hold myself accountable. I want people to be a part of this journey with me because I like live to tell the story. There were moments in my life I didn't know I was going to, whatever, that's dark, but it's the truth. Like there were moments in my life where I was like, this is scary and I don't feel like I have the steering wheel and truly Jesus take the wheel. But you know, it just kind of felt, it was like this inherent feeling of, I think I'm supposed to talk about this and I really feel like it's going to connect with people. And it's become the most beautiful journey. And I really do protect myself from like reading what people are saying about me these days because I've realized like, it's not good for my mental health. So I'm not going to do that.
And it doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter. But what I have experienced from people I knew or strangers on the street or people that are struggling in the same way, like that connection has been unlike anything I've ever experienced. And it's given me a lot of purpose. And it also helps keep me sober. And it also helps to keep me wanting to evolve and grow. Like I love connecting with people.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I don't care where you come from, what you do. We all experience a lot of similar things. If you break it down to like a basic level. And so even people who aren't struggling with, people who aren't on the path of sobriety, like some people have still connected to the story because
it's interchangeable.
It's interchangeable with their own, you know, quote unquote demons. And so has it been a mixed bag? I'm sure it has. But for me, it's a no-brainer to keep talking about it and to keep sharing my story. And in doing so, I just want people to know that you can be yourself. Yeah. Because like my fear was always, okay, if I show up as myself with my past, with my baggage, with all my fears, et cetera, are people going to like me? Are people going to show up for me? Are my friends going to stick around? Continue the list. And listen, have certain people stuck around? No. But those weren't my people.
Right.
Your people will show up. They will stay for you. And what I've experienced, which is so beautiful, is the people that don't know me, people who have supported my career, like the amount of love and support I've felt from those people blows my mind. So, yes, mixed bag. It's so funny you say mixed bag because I'm trying to think of a name for something, and the term mixed bag was like on my list of things.
Oh, that's weird.
Synchronicities. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, that is my happy answer. I'm happy that is like what's come out of it. Because I think we're, like you're saying, we're always concerned about like perception. And I think for like a public figure, perception could mean your livelihood. Like I think we always, and I mean, I think that also goes for everybody. Like whatever your job description is, or whatever your like, your something that you find is like detrimental to your life. If
it threatens everything,
right? Then it's really serious, and it can seem like it's unavoidable and scary, and in some ways it is, right? But there is something so powerful about owning your narrative, which is exactly what you're talking about. Like
I think so.
Taking that power back, no matter what anybody else says, this is the truth, and take it or leave it. Like this is me, this is what it is, and like you're saying, people will stick around or they won't. The right people will stick around.
Exactly, and I think people, when someone walks into a room and they're just so themselves, people feel the energy of that. And you either like it or you don't, but you have to respect it. Totally. And so that was what I was most surprised about is like, you know, coming out as a young female in the entertainment industry talking about struggling with alcoholism. Like, yeah, that's really scary to talk about. Like, but I was like, I have to have the courage to be a little tarnished and just be a little raw and fragile and just ultimately just be myself. And that's empowerment to me, though. Is you know, I'm sure you experience.
Oh, absolutely.
We all go through the same thing.
My flip side of it was like all of my health issues. I didn't know what was happening, so there was an aspect of like like you're saying, like the chaos of like feeling like you don't have any power over the situation. I had no idea what was going on with me. And that was also like very publicly a visual thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like something that I could, keep from people. It was like, even though I don't know what's happening, there's this portion of like vulnerability because
you're on the biggest show in the world and people are commenting about your body.
Well, but it's also like, in a way, I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Of course, like, people shouldn't be attacking somebody in this way. But at the same time, like, I was a character that they, regardless if they were fans or not, to many people is supposed to look a certain way. And in our show, flashbacks, it was a really big part of it. It really mattered. Being the it girl mattered for my character. So separate like my feelings from it and what people should or shouldn't be saying. They are looking at my character being like, well, it doesn't add up. Right? It didn't. To be fair, the way that...
Yes. Continue, and then I have thoughts. I have thoughts.
And I will like round out my thought on this, but I want to hear what you think about this. But if I take something like continuity, taking like all sort of like rights or wrongs or feelings out of it, it's like if you look at Allison's flashback history of everything that happened on that one night. I was like 10 different people, right? From hair color to hair length to body type.
But guess what remained
everything.
the same? That yellow top, baby.
That fucking yellow
top. Fucking yellow top remains.
So, when people think of like a storyline and what a character, that particular character is supposed to be, I went from really fitting it to really not. And I think we were at a time where certain things were shifting in a positive light. Like we were...
The narrative for women,
narrative for women was starting to like be talked about more. And there was a little bit more empathy, I guess would be the way to... But it was also being... It was being taken advantage of in like the same way.
No, that was brutal, Sash. Like, that is brutal to have to go through.
But the upside or the positive side to that was that I got to the point when I figured out what was wrong and I had a diagnosis, it changed everything. Because then it became my power. Yeah, I got to talk about it. People on the street, like you're saying, like they connected with it. I'm going to cry again.
I love the
Before
tears.
we pushed record on this podcast, we cried about our dogs. So it started out.
Tears are good, man.
It started
tears
out.
Tears is just, how many times will I say energy in this podcast? I've already said it like 5 times, but tears are energy moving. It's good.
Yeah. No,
Let it flow.
It is good.
I love it.
But your thoughts?
I haven't cried yet. I mean, that was just f***ing insane to like be on the periphery witnessing like how challenging that had to have been. I think you just handled it with such maturity and great. I don't know what was happening internally or behind closed doors. Like, obviously you were dealing with a lot, but you are such a professional that you would show up. You were like the most professional of all of us. Truly. Just like the most professional of all of us. And you would, I knew that was hard. Just like when I was struggling, you knew it was hard, but like we have a job. You show up, you do the work, and you leave everything at home, right? So you handled it with grace and maturity and kindness, and damn, it's just, I can't even imagine what that was like. But what I was going to say
this is supposed to be my job on the podcast.
It's a day. It's a day. It was a new moon yesterday.
I love that you know that.
Your emotions may be a bit heightened.
Thanks.
But it's good. This
I'll
is
just
beautiful.
leave
This is
here.
beautiful. This is beautiful.
Just leave that
But what
here.
I was saying is the most important thing I've learned in the last couple of years, one of the most important things, is that nothing in life is personal. And when people, have you heard of something called the mirror theory or mirror work? I'm not going to explain this in the best way, but
Explain it, yeah.
It's essentially like all the good qualities I see in you, it's because they live in me. All the things that make me angry about someone else, it's because I'm actually angry at myself. So
that makes total sense.
So it's this whole concept that we actually hold all the power, and so we attract certain things into our life, or like attracts like, law of attraction kind of vibe. But with mirror work, it's essentially like if someone has the audacity to comment about a young woman's body on their favorite show and actually take the time and energy to type, there it is, energy again, type the words, the hateful words, that is only a deep reflection of their hatred for themselves. And they have an outlet. And what's an easy outlet? A big TV show with a beautiful woman whose body's changing.
Who
and
they
so,
also feel like, I think, in so many ways won't see it.
Yeah. Well, shocker, we do.
Yeah.
We do. And so my whole point is, like, obviously you're human and those things hurt. We're human beings. But what I've realized and how I have more empathy going through what I've been through, it allows me to have more empathy for why people are cruel sometimes, because people that are cruel are the people that are in the most pain.
Totally.
And the people who are avoiding their pain the most. And that makes me sad, because I don't know if those types of people, hopefully, will ever get to the core of what's hurting them. But it's just like, it's a vicious cycle. But I do agree with you that it has gotten... There is a much different narrative around the physical female body. And, like, also for me, I don't know how you feel, but I guess it's normal when you're in your 20s to, like, purely focus on the way you look.
Yeah.
Whereas now, how old are you now?
I'm
Are you
about to
30
be
yet?
29.
Oh my God.
I feel like I'm 40.
She's
Not that
an
there's
old
anything wrong
soul.
with being 40.
But I think something
excited for
happens
40.
where you realize, like, yes, it's important to nourish your body, take care of your body, exercise, all the things, right? Take care of your vessel. It's very important that we take care of our body.
Yeah.
But it becomes more of like, oh, but what am I doing to get my, like, soul right?
Yeah.
And that is where real power and beauty is like, I don't care if you are objectively the most beautiful person in the room. If your soul is ugly, no one notices, because, like, that inherent light is what is the most important to me.
Yeah. No,
and
I completely
you
agree.
have always had that from my point of view. I've always had this, like, sparkly, twinkly thing.
I mean this in the best way. This was my therapy session today.
Oh my God. I love it.
You know, I
want to cry.
do it.
No. I've been crying so much recently. So this is good. This is a nice little break.
I'm happy to talk about crying always, because I think I've said it on the podcast already. So sorry if you hear this again. But my mom cries at everything. And it's one of those things where, like, it was never super negative, but it was always like, oh, she would cry at the commercial, and it was like,
Oh, she's sensitive.
And I could see people kind of make fun of her for it. And so in my head, it's not that it was her, but I was like, oh, I never want to be that
appear
person.
that way.
So, yeah, but I've crossed over to, like, no, that's a strength, because people who are not in touch with their emotions, just like what you're talking about, there are bigger problems there, and it's actually a them problem, not a me problem.
It's never a us problem. It's always whatever you said.
I'm like, no,
you said it perfectly.
But it really is. It's like I'm at the point now where it's, you know, I might joke about it, but overall, like, I really am comfortable with it.
Yeah. Wait, when is your birthday?
The 17th of February.
Oh my God, you're a
Aquarius.
How have we never talked about this? I get along with, would it be Aquarii?
Aquarians?
Aquarians.
That's cute. I like
Aquarii. Because I'm a Gemini. That's an air sign.
Yeah. I know. I
Do you
literally know nothing.
Okay, I'm not
about
gonna.
it.
I feel like I always talk about astrology on things.
No,
so I'm not gonna.
You can.
No, but I will get your birth time after, because I want to read your chart, because I'm curious what your Mars and Venus are in.
Yeah, I have.
I feel
no
like
idea.
you have a lot of water in your chart. I can't. No. I mean that. It's a good thing.
Okay,
I have a
that's
water moon, and so I'm a Scorpio moon. So it's
Oh, Hendrix is a Scorpio.
Scorpio sun.
I have no idea.
Like, so
just a
he's born.
Scorpio.
Okay, Scorpio
He's,
sun.
November 6th.
Okay, got it.
And then Hudson is a Virgo.
And I have a lot of Virgos in my life.
Do you?
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like my best
My mom's
friend
a
and
Virgo.
Hudson, they're both Virgos. And I have lots of close friends that are Virgos.
So did you know?
I don't know if I attract Virgos or what, but there's just lots of
Probably. Like we
Virgo
attract
energy.
certain kind of, I attract a lot of air signs. So a lot of Libras, a lot of Geminis, a lot of Aquarians. But did you know, I've recently gotten into astrology. I'm trying to learn more, but like I work with an astrologer and it continues to blow my mind. But so the sun sign, so the sign you're born with, you're Aquarius. Sorry.
Yeah.
Aquarius. So that actually is do you know your rising and moon? Oh, Sasha. Okay.
I know, I'm
So basically
sorry.
your sun sign is like the natural skill set that you're born with. It's what you inherently know. It's how you navigate the world, right? You just have these skills and they just come naturally to you. Your moon sign is super important because your moon is how you feel. It's your internal world. So any feelings, any emotions, how you feel about yourself, like how you navigate relationships, that's your moon. Your rising sign is actually who you are, and it's when people meet you, that's the energy you give off.
Okay.
And
That's
it's what
their
you're, and it's
impression
like
of you.
basically what your soul is pushing you towards in this lifetime is the qualities of your rising sign.
Okay.
So that's why when people are like, "Ugh, you're a Gemini." Why do Geminis get such a
I
bad
don't
rap?
know.
But you know why? It's because people mistake the twins as
like good and
two-faced.
evil.
It's
Right, two-faced or
duality.
whatever,
It's
yeah.
because we both understand both sides of a situation. Whatever. Conversation for a different day.
No, I love it. No,
But I want to hear. Give me your birth time after, and I'll figure out.
I don't.
I wonder what you.
I will.
I feel like
I'll
you've got
find
like
it.
some Cancer in your chart.
I mean, I couldn't tell you. Yeah,
Okay,
maybe.
Anyway,
what I
we'll
find
figure it out.
fascinating about astrology is like I think the little that I know about it, I think it's incredible. Like the similarities and like things that are like. You know, my dad's a Scorpio, Hendrix is a Scorpio. There are certain things that are like, yes, they're related, but there are definitely things where I'm like, that little Scorpio running around.
Scorpios are intense.
They're so intense. They're
I
so
love them.
passionate and so great in so many ways. But yeah, they're
Well, there's a depth. There's a depth there
and
that I love.
And yeah, and it's fun to experience this little toddler with, and he's like the kindest little dude on the planet. I'm like,
So
oh, yep, there that is.
cute.
Yeah, you know, it's just like the little things that I feel like are cool coincidences. I think I got a bad taste in my mouth from horoscopes early on because every like Cosmo that I read or People magazine, it was
so
like
basic.
Basically,
It's
like
so
you can be
basic.
a this week because you know
Everyone blames everything on Mercury.
Right.
I actually can blame everything. When Mercury's retrograde, did you know it's actually Mercury retrograde, not in retrograde? Anyway, when Mercury's retrograde, it's my ruling planet. So it actually very
Dictates
much
the way you're feeling.
But Mercury is a planet of communication and like technology. So usually when Mercury's retrograde, my communication, people communicating with me, it's all flipped on its axis.
What I will say about it is, again, with the little that I know about it, there are certain things that are undeniable in our planet, even just like the way that the moon affects the tide. Like there are certain things where like
You can't deny it.
Yeah,
It's science.
right.
Well, and it's also like, okay, the pyramids, here I go. A bunch of like ancient civilizations. I mean, look at ancient Egypt alone. Everything was dictated by the stars. They built the Great Pyramids to be in alignment with Orion's belt.
Yeah.
And then across the planet, when they apparently didn't have communication, the same kind of structures built with the stars. So I feel like Earth is small. We are but a small speck
Yeah.
of something really magical. And the only thing that makes sense to me is that the answers are like above.
And the
And
stars,
so
yeah.
I just the more I've learned about it and read about it, yes, there are people who are full of shit and are like, you know.
They take advantage of that
yes,
sort of.
Yes,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
truly believe I've talked to some people who are very, very, very gifted, and astrologers that I speak with are like very spiritual, very like godly women, and it just
Well, there's
I don't
I
know.
know a lot of people that talk about it. It's also like your higher self.
oh
right?
let's go, Sasha. I journal to my higher self every morning.
Oh, that's cool.
I do. I believe we all have a higher self, which is connected to whatever your concept of God is, the universe, Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it, a power bigger than yourself. If you believe in that, I personally do. But your higher self is like a direct link to God. And so imagine like we're us and you're the passenger seat, but our higher self is actually driving the ship.
Interesting.
And it took me a long time to actually trust my higher self, because sometimes you're like, okay, what the is going on? But now I'm like, okay, what the is going on? I trust you. Take me wherever I'm supposed to go. But I love that you know this concept of higher self.
Yeah, the higher self. Yeah. And I want to explore that more, because I think that is fascinating.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means for me yet, but I like the idea of contact, like journaling to your higher self. I think that's really cool. I do also, and again, I probably know less about what I'm about to say than I do about horoscopes, which is just like, because Hudson thinks all of this is interesting and is the like quantum.
Oh, the quantum field.
Yeah.
No, Sasha, you don't understand. Like, I wasn't always this person, okay? But when I swear to God, when I got sober, I had this like spiritual awakening where, and by that I don't mean it was like this like, like a light bulb went off where I was like, wait, what's really going on? Why are we here? What's my purpose? What's my driving force? Why are all these miracles happening around me? Like, and then I'm like super obsessed with like quantum entanglement and reading about physics. Who would have thought? I didn't even graduate high school. But you realize,
to be honest,
like, whether you believe in God or not, there is like a spiritual, there's like codes of the universe. Like, they've proven law of attraction is real. Like attracts like. Law of manifestation. You think about something long enough, you feel it, you feel yourself already having it. Well, a month later, it shows up.
Right.
Like, you cannot argue with science. I'm sorry. You can argue with me, but you can't argue with science.
I'm fully on board.
And so I'm like borderline obsessed with the unseen and like breaking down why things happen. And I'm going to have to talk to Hudson. This is good.
He will love that.
This is really great.
He'll be like, finally, I can talk to somebody.
I'm here
about
anytime. Come to call me. Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I won't speak for Hudson because that's his own journey. But like for me, I grew up in church and I grew up like literally teaching Sunday school. There are certain things that I was just told, and so I was told it and I believed it wholeheartedly, right? And then I think as you go through life, whether you stick with that mentality or not, you hopefully get to a point where you're able to make your own decision on that.
Yeah.
My decision was basically like to each their own. I have a really, really, really hard time with organized religion.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with it.
Yeah.
And however, though, I would never categorize myself as an atheist because I am so spiritual.
You do feel like something.
Yeah. And I don't even know what the name is necessarily, but it's like I've always been a spiritual person. Now I'm just figuring out what that means.
What that means to you.
For myself.
I really relate to that. I grew up in, I'm from the South. Religion is like embedded in.
Yep.
And I look back now and I'm very grateful that I had that upbringing, because it's always been very easy for me to know that life is magic and that God is real. Like, I don't know. It's just this like.
No, absolutely.
But I agree with you that like for a while I really rebelled against what I felt like certain things were forced upon me. So naturally, you want to rebel against that. And I did for a long time, and that didn't feel right either. And so, that is the great thing about being our own human, is that we all get to decide what we believe in. We all get to decide what God is to us and how that manifests in our life. Like, we are all such powerful creators and manifestors. And what I didn't know growing up that I know now is that we all have a godlike energy in us, and we can tap into this abundant energy source whenever we want and ask for help. And I'm not trying to make this like about God and religion, but like that help is out there. And I've seen it work firsthand in my life. I've literally seen miracles happen in my life when I didn't know what else to do. I was like,
Yeah, I mean,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
those
saying?
things
And
happen,
so,
I know.
but it is so exciting when, especially for you, like what a cool place to be in that you can figure out what that is to you and what resonates. And
I think there's also a sense of when I really started making those true, I don't want to call them decisions because I don't think that like it has to be like this is my decision forever. I think it can evolve based on how I feel and that sort of thing. But it feels more detrimental now having a kid.
oh, I'm sure.
Because it's like you're saying, like we were raised in a certain way, and there are positives and negatives to that. There are things. There's a certain structure that comes from religion that I think can be helpful and bad. You know, it depends on what narrative is pushed on you. It depends on the level of love and hate that you've received. What you're taught in certain circumstances, how you are taught to look at other people. Like there are a lot of levels and layers to that. You know, there was always this thought process that was like that. What is that quote? It's like if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Sort of,
yeah.
And it brought on like a fear. There was also the narrative that is like I got taught this in church so much that you know better to believe than find out that you're wrong later.
Hold on, let me think on this. Better to believe.
And find out that you're wrong and have lived a life, you know, connected than to find out that you... Does that make sense?
It's kind of, yes. I think, I'm like, am I getting this correctly? But yes.
Specifically, just specifically in like Christianity.
Yes,
It was the
got it,
Christianity
got it. Yeah.
Version of that, which was like, you know, much better to follow this exactly and go live your life by this because the worst thing that can happen is you're wrong at the end. And so,
Sounds
you know,
so ominous and scary.
right. So there's a level of fear there.
Yeah.
Right? And there are lots of things that I don't agree with on that side. And it's like, no, we shouldn't be living our lives
In fear at all.
in fear at all. To me, you know, whatever is out there, whatever, like you're saying, whatever label.
Aliens.
Oh, we can talk about
For
aliens
sure.
all day. Whatever name you want to put on it. Like I don't want to believe in a God that is spiteful.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the
Who
day,
does,
like,
you know?
Well, so it's the thing is like, it's like, oh no, if I misstep, my
Yeah,
soul is down.
I just feel like that is just human-made concepts thrown
Right.
onto what religion is, you know? And
I don't believe that that's what it is at its core. It's more so.
No,
my point.
no, I believe, here we go. I believe all religions at their core are good. I really do. And I believe we all want the same thing. All religions are saying the same
They are literally saying
thing in different words from different time periods. I'm fascinated by religion, and I'm always curious to hear people's
stories
point of
with
view
it, right?
and their relationship to.
And here's my other thing is like I'm also at the point where like, and I don't think I ever crossed into this phase. I've never like hated a religion. Like I've never hated Christianity. What are you
You
laughing?
heard it here first.
But and so to me it's like, hey, I'm cool with any religion as long as you're not hurting other people.
Amen.
And that's where my line is crossed. Like
Absolutely.
I feel like if following something like it gives you a purpose and it gives you like a guide and you become a better person and you stick to that because you believe in this, awesome. And if it gives you hope and it makes you sleep better at night and you treat people better and like you take care of yourself because of it, great. I don't have anything to say about that.
Yeah.
But as soon as it starts hurting other people,
Yeah.
I got issues.
I know. I just wish we could all just stay in our own lane, you know? Wouldn't it be nice if we just all just kind of did what was best for us?
Yeah.
And then not judge people for what
It
they
would be
did?
great. It would be so great. But anyway,
It would
that's
be nice.
That's my point about like it's not that I like don't believe in God because I am very much not an atheist. It's just the history embedded in
there's
religion
a lot of baggage
is like
with. I'm sure you're definitely a lot of people listening to this feel the exact same way. There have been points in my life where I had to really work through that as well and find a solid foundation for me to land on.
Yeah, for sure. And there is that stability in my childhood that I had to fall back on, which was like, well, you know, there are loving parts of it, and like it is a safety net.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
Yeah.
So like it's there's a lot of like conflicting thoughts there, but it's also, to me, it's also like, you know what, I can believe what I believe, and just like I'm giving that grace to somebody else,
Right.
it can also be for me. Because at the end of the day, like, that's my relationship with.
I was going to say, can I get an amen in the back?
Exactly. like so anyway, that's that. But
I love
we
that.
can't talk about aliens if you want.
So, I mean, I love to talk about that. Do you believe in aliens? We'll start there.
So yes, because ultimately I believe that the term aliens is kind of funny to me, because I think it's very natural for humans to think that they are the center of the universe.
Because we're all egomaniacs, yeah.
Yes. It's like inherent that, like, you know, we're so great that obviously it's us. And I think it's, I'm not saying that anybody, I'm not speaking out against anybody in particular. Like, I'm not saying anybody is stupid or bad for thinking that aliens don't exist. I just think, like, personally, based on science and the things we do know about the universe, like, to me, it's like there are so many things out there. Why the fuck would we be the only?
Also, there is a documentary on YouTube. I can't remember the name, but it basically was, they had figured out the statistic of how many planets in our solar system alone, or stars or whatever, could be inhabitable. Habitable, thank you. Habitable. And it was like trillions. There are trillions of possibilities. And so I agree that, like, it is a scary concept to think, oh my God, like, we're not alone. But for me, it's super easy for me, and also kind of comforting to know that there's so much going on, that we're all like a part of this really big puzzle. And
we don't need to meet them. We don't, nothing.
I would love to meet them.
I would love to meet them too, but I think there's that fear. I think what's also silly, there's two silly things for me. There's two silly things, and one of them is the fact that, like, the term alien is, I think, is so misused. Do
you know what I call them?
What?
Light beings.
Light beings?
I do,
like
because
that.
I think there are, like, almost... It's just funny, like, if I were hearing me talk about this. But I believe there are, like, almost angelic, like, presences that are of a different frequency, which is why we can't see them. Like, this is where me and Hudson would get thrown out, because there's, like, the different dimensions. There's, like, we're living in the 3D. We're going to the 4D, whatever. But I believe a lot of these alien, quote-unquote, alien beings probably don't live in our 3D reality, which is why we don't see them all the time, but it doesn't mean that they're not there all the time.
Or, so, I mean, yes.
Because, like, ghosts, do you believe in ghosts? Paranormal?
I, like, again, yes and no. I just feel like our concept of what a ghost is probably not exactly what it is. Does that make sense?
It does. But I guess why I brought that up is because when we pass, we go to a different realm. We go to a different dimension. So just because, it sounds freaky, but, like, just because we can't see
doesn't mean
other energy, it's proven
there,
energy doesn't
necessarily
disappear.
Leave. Right.
It just transfers.
Go? Right.
So I just think there's so much going on we don't know, and I love it.
I
love it.
Yeah. So, like, I guess my thing is, like, the reason the alien term kind of makes me laugh is because who's to say that they're not also what we know as human?
Correct.
We could all of the aliens could also be our version of a human or something slightly different.
Correct.
It doesn't have to be so crazy different that they're like, that they're terrifying.
They might already be on the planet and just
look like us.
Who knows?
Who knows?
And so
the ocean, that's like a whole other thing.
Oh, come on, man. What is happening in the ocean?
Seriously.
Merman? Maybe my husband is a merman.
You never know.
Yeah, that trips me out.
And again, going back to the thought process of us being the only things in the universe, there is also this religious aspect of fear that not everybody has. But the fact that, like, I don't quite understand completely denying it flat out with no possibility that it can happen, because it's actually taking away a power from God. Like, if he's so powerful, the way that, like, a traditional perspective on religion, most religions, I would think, why would you take that power away? If he's so powerful and he's made all of these things and he knows more than us and all of those things, why wouldn't he make more of us? Why would he make all of these planets and space and just not do anything with it?
I mean, I do
It's
believe...
just like a question. Like,
No. I do...
Like challenging the thought process.
I agree with you. I do believe... I don't know. It's like, I do believe there is other life out there. And ultimately, do I know? No, I don't know. None of us know. And there anything
like bacteria.
But I do believe there is life out there. There are very intelligent life. Far more intelligent than humans. Far more. Beyond what we can even comprehend. There's no doubt in my mind. No fucking doubt in my mind. But are there other humans who experience emotion in the way we do? I don't know. Like, each planet could have a different version of a human. Like, we just don't know. But it's exciting for me to believe that. It makes me... I feel like it's real. I feel like there's so much to learn. And, like, who knows what we'll know in
Right. It
5
might never
years,
be in
10
our
years.
lifetime,
Like,
but it could be.
I believe we will.
Hendrix's lifetime.
I really feel like we're going to... Some shit's going to go down. In a good way. In a good way. Not in a...
Yeah. I mean,
War of the Worlds type way. But
I mean, I think that there's also, like... That's a whole other thing, too, because I think there's a human tendency that, like... Again, to, like, fear what you don't know rather than be, like...
Open to it,
right? So...
Yeah.
Who knows what that would look like? And I don't believe that this is actually the case. It could be, but I don't believe this is actually the case. But I love it. Like those memes where it's like they probably visit us like a safari, like
or like we're ants, and they're like, oh, what are these little idiots doing today?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
which I think is quite funny to think about. But yeah, I mean, it makes all of the little things that we like, all of our little issues feel so small.
Correct.
Like the things that feel so big to us in reality are like pretty small.
Yeah.
And we only really feel that when something big happens.
Correct.
You know, like...
And we need those big things to happen to remind us of what is important and to like catapult us back onto like our correct path, because we get so distracted.
Yeah.
Me included,
totally,
with things that do not ultimately matter. It's just crazy.
Yep. Yeah. And like you're saying, like we all do it. Everybody's guilty of it because naturally certain things in life are frustrating.
Yeah.
Like something not loading and you needing to like download it or upload it or something like that.
Though.
It's so annoying. That's my point.
Yeah.
Like it is annoying and it's like affecting things throughout your day. So of course you're going to be irritated by it.
Yeah.
Is it the most important thing? No.
Yeah.
But like naturally those are our struggles for the day. But
ultimately
it's so insignificant.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go from there.
We've been all over the map. I love it. I love it.
Where
do we go now?
I guess this is just a sidestep because I think this is a fun question, and I don't really know my own, so this is actually an unfair question.
Okay.
But and you might not also have an answer for this, but I'll
make one up.
I've never asked anybody this, so I think it's kind of
Okay.
fun. It's not deep by any means. Don't get too excited. What is the weirdest rumor you've ever heard about yourself?
The weirdest rumor.
Hey everyone, it's Sasha. Great conversations deserve the perfect pairing, like my new adult beverage, Hippie Water. It's a refreshing, non-alcoholic seltzer with 5 milligrams of Delta-9 THC and just 30 calories. Find it now at hippiewater.com and use discount code NUDEHIPPIES for 20% off. Or find it in Total Wine in Florida, Texas, and Arizona. Hippie Water.
What is the weirdest rumor you've ever heard about yourself?
The weirdest rumor. I don't know if I've had any weird rumor. I think I've been like relatively unscathed in that way. I definitely have had rumors where people have. It's so funny how, and this is so silly. Who cares who people are dating? Who cares? But like, where people have seen me with someone and they assumed we're together, and I was like, I've been with people for long periods of time, and people have never to this day will never know. So it just, the media can skew anything a certain way, but ultimately, like that's why I see stuff you can't believe it. You literally, there is, I feel like, a half truth or a little truth to everything, but the media just paints crazy stories and we just run with them. But I haven't had anything bad or weird at all. Have you?
So that's my thing. That's why I said it's an unfair question, because
Yeah.
if you had something, I don't really, but I
think I
feel like
have.
there is so much out there. There's so much of that, like you're saying, like assumption based, or
And now
like
it's
you like something or you don't like something, and it becomes like. But
Yeah.
I've been unscathed because I, probably to my own detriment in a lot of ways, have not been a part of Hollywood like other people have.
But you're a very private person, and that feels genuine to who you are.
Yeah, and
You
look,
know?
I honestly wouldn't trade it. It's not
Yeah.
something that I wish I did differently, really, other than maybe pushing my career forward a little bit. Other than that,
No,
that
your
would probably
career is
be
perfect,
inevitable.
and it's moving at its own perfect
It's
trajectory.
Exactly. Yeah. I really don't like regret it, because I think the flip side of it I would not be where I am. I wouldn't have the family that I have, like all of those things. But I do wish that we didn't jump to conclusions so much on like details about people's lives that we really don't know anything about.
It's really fascinating how, like, pop culture is such escapism for people, and because I really I look at the psychology behind it, because I'm like, oh, why do all of us collectively, myself
so
included,
much
sometimes
about something?
care so much about this drama and this thing, and reality shows are at an all-time high of like dating shows, and it's just because it truly is, I think, just pure escapism, and it's like numbing out in a way.
It's also a weird version of like social experiments. Like I feel like
100%.
reality
Yeah.
shows are so far from actual reality.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like they're social experiments. You like throw people in a room and they're acting probably really unlike their true selves. Like dating shows, in particular, like the Bachelor and the Bachelorette. Like I know people love those shows, but like the psychology behind that is actually really terrible.
Yeah.
And really weird.
Yeah.
It's a really weird thing to like.
It's a whole...
But it's like it's a social experiment.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, can I start a rumor about you?
Yeah.
No. I was like, Sasha is the nicest person in Hollywood.
Ouch.
Oh, wait,
I
that
guess
was true,
rumors-
though. That's
no,
true,
rumor-
though. That's true,
rumors-
so it's not a rumor.
I guess a rumor doesn't have to be.
Sasha threw hot
False.
coffee in my face doing this podcast.
Sasha served me cold coffee.
Yeah.
I asked for a hot latte.
It is a little cold right now,
I know,
but
I'm
it has
sorry.
been sitting. We've been talking for a while. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's good.
Again, this is so unfair. I personally hate this question. I've gotten this question my entire life.
So why are
which
you
is
asking it?
Because there's a flip side.
Okay.
To it, which is really like the what would you say to your younger self? I don't know why. I get asked that a lot.
People
hate
do
that question.
love to ask that.
They do. And I think that, we can all have like really thoughtful answers for that. But like,
Yeah.
I don't, maybe I hate it because I don't know. I don't think that I don't think that would
People always want to say, what advice would you give to your younger self? And I always want to say, nothing. I had to go through all that.
Yeah.
You can't change anything.
So I think
Can't
that
change a thing.
ultimately is a silly question. So my
Yeah.
flip side to that is, what would you love to know from your future self?
Oh, that's nice.
Is it? It's also maybe a terrible question.
No. It's nice. I mean, I feel like I have like a whole laundry list of questions I want to ask, but it's I do this like higher self journaling. I also do like visualization of like experiencing who I know I'm going to be and knowing it's already me. So
Right.
like that is the trick to manifesting, is being her now.
Right.
So it's like anything I would ask to my future self is just what I would ask to myself now, because
Right.
every version of me, past, present, future, it's all one. And if I can already dream it and feel it, it means it exists on the timeline. Hudson, where are you, man? We got to talk about this stuff.
I know.
So I feel like I don't really know if it's a question, but it's more of, I'm glad you're happy and I'm proud of you. And I hope you are enjoying every second of it, because you deserve it. Because a big theme in my life is not feeling deserving of anything. Past version. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
didn't, subconsciously really too. It was like, I we got this success, we got a lot of money young, we got all this fame and notoriety, and I felt really guilty about having a lot of these things. And I don't necessarily know where that inherent limiting belief came from, but it's, it could be something I was just born with and something I needed to get through. But it's been really important for me in my whole journey, especially with sobriety and this spiritual path I'm on, is reminding myself every day I am deserving of good things, good people, good experiences.
Yeah.
And I have nothing to be guilty of.
I think a lot of people would be a lot better if that is how they looked at themselves.
I think we all need to try. I don't like when people tell me what to do. So I would encourage, this is what I do for myself, and I find that it works. It's important that we put ourselves first, and that we're nice to ourselves first before we're nice to anyone else.
Yeah.
Be your own best friend.
That's where that mirror comes
Be
from,
your
right?
own best friend. Be friends with your higher self. It's vital. It literally is vital to the future I want to have. It's vital to the future you deserve to have. Like I have got to just learn to be a little more gentle and compassionate with ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know your answer.
Well, I mean, I second all the things that you are saying about it. I think ultimately my question is like, I know what I want to do. I know where I want to be. I know the things that I want to accomplish. I guess my question to my future self would just be like, what tools do I need to get there?
Ooh,
you know what I mean? Like, what do I need to learn as soon as possible to like make, I'm not saying it needs to happen fast, but like what skill sets do I need to enhance? Do I need to learn in order to become what I want to be? You know, because I think
that's a great answer.
I always want to evolve and change, and I always want to learn. I never want to stop learning. But there is this aspect of like there are things that I'm like trying to get over right now, which is like not with everything, but I am an awful procrastinator. I procrastinate about so many things in my life.
Sasha. Why do we do this?
I don't know.
Over dumb.
Do you know why I think it is? I think because I've never had a big enough consequence to change it.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, I need to change it before I'm given a reason.
But do you procrastinate over big things or small things?
Small things.
Both? Me too. Like driving here, my car almost stopped because I was out of gas because I literally have put it off for days. I was riding so close to the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's little things like that. It's stupid little things.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's like important and I'm super passionate about it, like if it's for Hendrix, if it's for Hudson, if it's for like shooting stuff like film or TV or whatever it is, like my job, like those things I don't procrastinate on. It's all the little things or the things that are like the in between maintenance things that I like that like, you
I can do it with big things sometimes, and I've tried to work through that. And I think why I procrastinated these like big dreams of certain dreams I've procrastinated on them possibly out of fear of failure or fear of being more exposed, fear of people not liking me, fear, and so I've had to work through that because it's like, I think it really, you know what else I've been doing? Oh, everyone listening, please do this. I swear it'll change your life. Okay.
I'm not telling you what to do, but I suggest
I'm not gonna, no. I strongly suggest this to you. But so basically in my journal, I write out, and I've broken it down to like money, career, physical body, relationships. You can do it for anything. And because I think where I've gotten caught up in my life is like, I want this thing, but I would keep getting a result that left me with the opposite end of the spectrum. And it's because I had all these subconscious beliefs around, let's just say, oh, you want more money. Okay, we all want more money, but we might have a subconscious belief that more money equals people take advantage of you. More money equals more problems.
Right.
More money, no more problems.
Yeah,
but it's true. And so what I've been doing with anything I'm going through and wanting to like kind of level up my life is I write out the old belief, which is whatever, and then write out the new belief. So
I love
an
that.
example would be like, more money creates more problems for me and people take advantage of me. And like the new belief could be, I'm just off the fly. I don't know. More money equals I provide support for the people I love.
More opportunity.
More opportunity, more freedom. And when you actually write it down, the old limiting belief, and you have to be really brutally honest with yourself, completely takes the power away. Something happens when you become aware of it, and then you can transmute it. Guys, I swear on my life, do this for a month for anything, and you will see the difference.
I completely agree with that.
And I procrastinated all these subconscious limiting beliefs for years. I just now, I'm 35, am acknowledging the things that have been holding me back. There's something really scary about holding that mirror up to yourself and being like, ooh. But then it's not so scary. It's like, oh, okay.
Right. And that's the thing, right? It's like your own version of a diagnosis.
Yes.
Okay, so now I know. What do I do with it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
And it's also, but that's a decision. And that decision itself can take a long time because
Very much so.
it's never like an easy thing. But I think,
No.
I don't think either path is easy. And I think that's actually the mistake when thinking about it, because you're like, oh, in order to maybe get better at certain things, there's a lot of work and a lot of effort that needs to be put into certain things. And that can seem really intimidating or overwhelming or scary.
Is that
but
scarier?
the opposite.
Staying the same? It's like that saying, what is the saying? Staying the same or change? Like
I know what you're talking about.
The
It's
pain
like-
of growth. Oh my God. Google it.
I know what you're saying.
Pain of growth is
Is
bigger
worse
than
than staying in the same place.
Same
yeah,
place.
Yeah. I know what you
basically, okay, yeah.
What is it?
The pain of change. No.
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, we're searching
there's just
for
going to
it.
be this quote
The-
over this
the
right now.
pain
It's
of-
going to be like,
Whatever,
we
you know what
figured
I'm
out
saying. The
I think there's
pain
there's
of
an
the pain of
equal-
staying the same was bigger than the pain of change. You know what I'm
you're
saying.
I do know what you're saying because
But
ultimately,
it's true. Staying the same is
well, even if
Yeah.
even if it's not just staying the same, it can be just as hard to like not do anything and get worse. Because ultimately,
Yeah.
I think if you don't move forward, things might not stay the same. We think about like, oh no, I'm not going to change anything, so I'm just going to coast and do what I've been doing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it actually puts you
progressive
backwards, right?
downfall. Yeah.
And that can be more detrimental, more painful, just harder.
Yeah.
It's harder to start than it is, I think, to.
No, sorry. I thought you were trying to quote. I thought you were trying to. Let's just start making up quotes and acting like they're real. No. What
Say
were
it
you
with
going to say?
confidence. I don't know. It's harder to start in the beginning, but I think that process, getting you'll the results you'll see from moving forward will be enjoyable and fruitful,
Yeah.
and it might be like a hard process, but ultimately, like that's what's worth it.
I love it. You killed that. That was great.
I know you've been traveling a lot and you've been filming. You're doing exciting things.
Oh yeah, what
Yeah.
what jobs?
What do you what do you
what
got
I have
going
coming
on?
out? Okay, so I have a movie coming out. They're telling me to not say Marry Kill, but it's called F Marry Kill, but
That there's no
Marry Kill.
Yeah.
It comes out
You can't bleep that
domestically. I can't.
No.
You could bleep it.
Yeah, we will bleep some of it.
Movie
Yeah.
called F Marry Kill. It comes out domestically and internationally in March.
Nice.
There are a couple of dates swirling around, but it will be March of this year.
Follow Lucy Hale to know. when the
Follow
date is.
me,
I'm
Lucy
excited
Hale.
for that.
Thank you. It was fun. It was very fun. It's basically about this girl who's recently gotten out of a relationship. She's on the dating scene while there's also a serial killer on the loose. And so she's trying to prove to her friends that the 3 guys she's dating are not the serial killer. So it's like murder, mystery, comedy. It was very fun. Very good time.
That's actually a really fun concept.
It's a cool concept, yeah.
I don't envy anybody that is like in the dating scene and using dating apps.
So me?
I skipped. Yeah,
Me?
no. I
Oh my God, you
skipped
missed
that.
Raya? You missed the
I
Raya
did,
days?
I did. I
What do
could
you
have
want to
signed
know?
up for Raya.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know about the dating scene in your 30s?
Well, no, because
Let me tell
I
you
have
about
so
it.
many girlfriends that are in it. Like I
Yeah.
know enough about it to like
Yeah.
never ever want to do it.
But you got lucky with Hudson.
did.
Like
I totally did. We've
y'all's
just known
love
each other for
story
so
is
long.
just beautiful, and it's just you're the exception to it.
Yeah.
I thank my heavenly stars every day. Like, I didn't know who I was as a woman until a couple of years ago. Like, I literally would not have been. I couldn't even provide for myself. So it's like,
How could
it's,
you
It's
have-
actually
yeah,
really
yeah.
exciting and fun to be dating now because I don't feel desperate or needy. It's just like, oh, you're cool, you're great. Let's go on a second date. Or, oh, wow, you elevate my life. Like, let's try to see if this works.
Yeah.
Dating is different when you feel really good about yourself.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to like crash any of my dates, come be a fly on the wall.
So in the same vein though, I've also pushed friends to try dating apps because I think there's also this like fear of like, no, I want to just meet somebody organically. But I'm like, yeah, but you work so much. Like, where are you going to meet that person?
Yeah.
Like, so I think and to be honest, you as much as you can lie on a dating app, I feel like you probably know a little bit more about that person than the guy that you just meet in a bar.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like that guy can also say anything that he wants to say the first time you meet them. So like, I think there's a misconception now that it's more normalized now, and I think for a good reason. I agree. And I've seen people have so much success with it now. Like I have multiple friends that have gotten married from meeting somebody on Hinge.
I know people that got married that met on Tinder.
Right. It happens, which is wild.
Like, there are success stories everywhere. And so I genuinely, I don't, because like what we always hear people talking negatively about dating, like, oh, it's so hard to date in LA. It's like, yeah, if you have that attitude.
Right.
Like if you think
very open to
guess
it.
what? If you think dating is hard for you, it's gonna be hard for you.
Yeah.
This is mind over matter, baby. So if you say I'm but you have to believe it, right? Believe what you're saying, and then the rest will come to you. But my experience is like I've really enjoyed dating because I've gotten to know myself better.
Yeah.
And
it's taking that power back. Right?
I figured out
you're owning it.
Yeah, and I figured out my wants and what I like, what I don't
Definitely
like.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been fun experimenting with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so there is that flip side to it, and I really truly don't think it's all negative. I'm just glad that I didn't have to go through like those bad experiences.
Yeah.
But I live vicariously through my friends who are on it because I'm like, I've never swiped. Can I do it?
You'll love this movie then because
Yeah.
my character was in a 10-year relationship and her friend gets her on the app and she's like,
What do I even do?
What do you mean? Like, why are you swiping so many times? Like, aren't I supposed to do that? It's very funny and
That's cute.
I think you'll enjoy it.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to see it.
Thanks.
Yay.
Yay.
I also, like, every time my friend is, like, going on a date, I'm like, is he a serial killer? Is she a serial killer? Can I, like, see?
You
Can
say,
I
is she a
assess?
serial killer?
Never know.
Yeah, you never
I've
know.
got lots of friends.
Yeah. I love that.
I don't mean I got lots of friends.
I got lots of
I mean, I've
friends.
got good friends who are on dating apps where I'm like,
Yeah.
let me see that.
Yeah.
Let me evaluate it because I think it's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I'll send any potentials your
I have
way.
something to tell you.
After
we're
we're
not
camera,
rolling. Nope,
oh
nope,
my
nope,
God,
nope.
juicy tea, everyone. She's got the juicy tea. Yes, I can't
Anyway,
wait.
I love you.
What's it about? Okay, bye.
I can't say anything.
Okay.
The end. I adore you. Yay. Oh, that was great.